To say I was excited for F1 Manager 22 would be a huge understatement. It had been a long time since we'd had such a game. The last I can think of is Motorsport Manager, which I think came out in 2016. As great as that game is, the whole genre could do with an upgrade to what we want now. So when I saw F1 Manager announced, I was like a kid at Christmas. I couldn't wait. The developer being Frontier Developments was also an interesting one. I'd had a little experience with a few of their titles previously, most notably Elite Dangerous. I'll say from the get-go, I really enjoyed F1 Manager 22. But I'm not blind to some of the absolutely glaring issues with the title either. With over 500 hours on the PC version, I certainly got my money's worth regardless. But today, with the announcement of the 2023 version, I'm here to ask, can and indeed will F1 Manager 23 be better than the 22 version? I've made a list of 5 things I'd like to see fixed or improved in the next game. This isn't a feature request video, I'll make one of those soon. This is simply things I see as issues with the core game I would like to see addressed. Let me know in the comments the main thing you'd like to see fixed for the 2023 game. So first of all, depth and replayability. It's a real issue. When you become accustomed to the mechanics of the game, it was really quite simple to achieve both titles with any driver lineup in just a couple of seasons, which is a real shame. We need to have the ability to swap teams, maybe even approach other teams, or if we're sacked, go to another team. Honestly, it shocked me that this wasn't a thing in the base game on release. Secondly, AI crashes. I mean, I'm not sure I really need to elaborate on this, but seeing your driver pretty much pull over to the side of the track while Crofty goes mad, and your driver's just infuriatingly sat there for ages, it wasn't a good look. I always tempered this by convincing myself it was just sort of a visual representation of what's going on rather than a high fidelity replay, but the truth is it needs to be a much smoother experience. It was so janky. Third, AI strategies and strategy variation. Admittedly, the developers did tinker with wet weather behaviour and various other things around AI logic, but I'd like to see some randomness. Not a huge amount as you'll lose realism, but maybe a couple of drivers a race throw a curveball to make you think, a little bit of uncertainty, earlier in the pits or later, different tyre compounds, just so it doesn't feel like every race is being read off a script. If you're still watching, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and tapping that like. They really help the channel so much. Fourth, I've gone with DRS and Slipstream. While these are important in real life, it was basically a cheat code in the 2022 edition of the game. Step 1, be a slower team. Step 2, stay in the DRS of a faster car as long as possible. Step 3 was just pure profit. Again, they did make some adjustments to this, but really it needs to be very much at the forefront of what they address for the 2023 edition. Fifth in my list is economy. Money was too easy to make. You could spend your way out of any situation with any team. I'd like to see this addressed. Teams like Williams should really struggle against a team like Red Bull in terms of spending power. They should be maybe 5 seasons away from really challenging from both titles, and it shouldn't really matter too much what the player does. Of course they should be able to accelerate this, but money is a massive thing in Formula 1 these days, especially with cost cap. So it should be a prohibitive thing. If you're taking over Williams or a team like that, you're going into it knowing that you're not going to have money and you're going to be up against it because of that for a good while. And that's actually pretty much a gameplay feature. It's expected when you take over a team like that. It should scale difficulty that way. That, you know, back of the grid, hard mode, front of the grid, easy mode. But really, it wasn't hard anywhere on the grid, in my opinion. So what do you think? What are the key issues you'd like to see addressed? Again, this isn't a feature request video, but I'd still love to hear what you think. Thanks so much for watching.